Tonight on Citrus TV News Live at 6, 2 Syracuse students announced their candidacy for the Student Association.
And Talking Points executive producer Mike Riccardi is in studio to preview the ramifications of what could happen tomorrow on Super Tuesday.
Plus, President Obama awards another Medal of Honor recipient.
Many people thought spring came early with warm temperatures yesterday, but today brought wind and rain. We'll have your full forecast. Citrus TV News starts right now.
From the Citrus TV studios, this is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Welcome to Citrus TV News Live at 6 and happy Leap Day. I'm Katherine Robinson.
And I'm Josh Bazan. Student Association election season is upon us.
And 2 Syracuse students began their campaign today, and that's where we start tonight. Eric Evangelista and Joyce Lalonde announced their candidacy for the Student Association today. They're running for president and vice president of SA, and the announcement is one of the first for the upcoming election. Voting opens on April 11th and goes until April 14th on MySlice.
Syracuse University students now have access to a website with resources to combat sexual assault. The Chancellor's Task Force on Sexual and Relationship Violence launched the webpage to provide information on prevention efforts. Individuals accessing the site can find guides and handbooks on issues they may encounter. The committee hopes the page will serve as an additional support system for students. And the speakers for TEDx Syracuse were announced Friday, and they'll be presenting with this year's theme, Glitch in Mind, which covers topics like courage and the power of humor. The slate includes community leaders, filmmakers, and even trauma survivors. They were selected by a team of SU students who organized the event that will be held in mid-April.
And last Friday night, the Pride Union hosted the 14th annual drag show. The show included performances by both drag queens and kings. And Citrus TV reporter Shruti Marate gives us a closer look.
Students filled Shine Student Center Friday night in excitement for the Totally Fabulous drag show. The evening was organized by the Pride Union and hosted by the famous drag queen Milk. A panel of judges evaluated each act and provided comments. Both the crowd and the queens brought big energy to the night. The stage gave an opportunity for students to explore the world of drag.
I've been doing this in secret for a very long time, and then I found out about drag when I came to college, and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna do that. And then I started buying heels and getting wigs, and eventually just turned into an experience.
The drag show is one of the Pride Union's main events of the year. The acts promote the message of the organization to be comfortable with your sexuality.
Drag is just an inspiring thing in the first place. It's literally the inspiration for this movement that we have. You know, being able to dress up as a persona that's, different from who you are. Or maybe it is you, but it's the you that you can't really show everybody. I think that's really what inspires this.
The show served as an outlet for students to express themselves without judgment, and performers took full advantage of that chance.
In my perspective, it's a way of me being unapologetically gay. Just I don't give a crap about anything that you guys say or do. I'm just gonna do what I want. And I think that's the strongest thing that I got from this community.
This is the 14th year in a row that the Pride Union has held this event. The union continues to provide support and a family for questioning LGBT youth. For Citrus TV News, I'm Shruti Marate.
Governor Andrew Cuomo is creating a rapid response team to address contaminated drinking water concerns. The team will also deal with groundwater and surface water contamination problems. Cuomo is also proposing regulations for mulch processing facilities to help protect natural resources and strengthen oversight. The biggest day in the 2016 election is right around the corner. Tomorrow on Super Tuesday, more than 11 states and nearly a quarter of delegates are up for grabs.
And after winning South Carolina by nearly 50 points, Hillary Clinton will look to defeat Bernie Sanders in the South. On the GOP side, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz will try to pick up delegates where they can, while Trump inches closer to the nomination.
Here with us in studio is Talking Points executive producer Mike Riccardi to give us his perspective before voters take to the polls tomorrow. Mike, thanks for coming in.
Good to be here.
So there's really two sides of this, Democrats, Republicans. We'll start with the Democrats. What kind of results are you expecting to see on the Democratic side tomorrow?
So look for Bernie Sanders to do well in his home state of Vermont, Massachusetts, the neighboring state, and the caucus states of Colorado and Minnesota. and then also Oklahoma. And then Hillary Clinton should do well in all the remaining 6 states in the Deep South. But the definition for doing well between both of them is much different. For doing well for Bernie Sanders, it's keeping it close and possibly winning, even though in Vermont he'll win big. And then Hillary Clinton is going to win by double digits in many of the southern states.
And now for Bernie Sanders tomorrow, will a poor performance end up pushing him out of the race?
I don't believe so. I think he has the resources, both fundraising and organizing, to stick around for a long time. This month in February, they've already raised $37 million, and they're pushing for $40 million by the end of tonight. So he'll stick around and he'll try to win those big contests like New York or California and make it all the way to the convention.
And moving on to the Republican side, 2 people really looking to catch up to Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz. Where do you expect them to do well tomorrow?
So Ted Cruz should win Texas. The polls have him ahead there by double digits in most polls. And he'll try to win in the neighboring states, Oklahoma and Arkansas, but it's still iffy. Then Marco Rubio really is only looking good in Minnesota. So the 2 of them are really duking it out for second place in most states where Donald Trump is probably going to win big.
And now what does this nomination process look like for the Republicans?
So while still mathematically possible for Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio to get enough delegates to win the nomination, if you ask pretty much anybody, they're going to say it's seemingly impossible with the current state of the race. Given the massive lead that Trump has both nationally and in many states. So basically at this point, it's either Trump becomes the nominee with enough delegates, or they try and slow him down and don't get him to that threshold by the time of the nomination convention.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks.
And tune into Talking Points this Thursday from 7:30 when Topher Lane and Josh Carney will have a full recap.
Coming up after the break, one astronaut looks to return home after he spent an entire year in space.
And the G20 countries have made a major decision regarding the world economy.
This morning was a little windy, but it turned into a beautiful day here in Syracuse. Right now it's 44 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, but don't let the great weather from the weekend fool you because there's still snow in the forecast for this week. Find out when that snow is expected by staying tuned to Citrus TV News.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Welcome back. And developing at this hour, a judge has ruled that the FBI cannot force Apple to unlock an iPhone in a routine Brooklyn drug case.
This decision follows a California judge's order forcing Apple to unlock the phone belonging to the shooter who allegedly carried out an attack in San Bernardino, killing 14.
Apple has refused to cooperate with the order, saying that it sets a dangerous standard for law enforcement tactics moving forward. And local media say 4 students were injured today in Ohio after a gunman opened fire in their cafeteria.
A police K-9 unit caught the fleeing suspect in the woods nearby and has him in custody.
Investigators say the suspect is a juvenile, but they're unsure if he attended the school or not.
None of the students appear to have sustained life-threatening injuries.
And police are investigating 3 execution-style murders today in Indiana.
The victims, all under the age of 23 and of East African descent, were found dead with multiple gunshot wounds in a Fort Wayne home.
Investigators say they believe more than one person is responsible for the killings, but they've ruled out any suspicion of it being a hate crime.
Members of Congress are supporting the female pilot unit's right to burial at Arlington National Cemetery.
Women Air Force service pilots who served in World War II are unable to be buried at Arlington because the Army says they were not technically part of the military.
Legislation has recently been introduced to reverse this decision, with support coming from veterans and members of Congress. President Obama awarded the Medal of Honor to a U.S. Navy SEAL earlier today. Senior Chief Edward Byers Jr. was an assault team member of a joint task force in Operation Enduring Freedom.
During a rescue mission, Byers was one of the first people into a building full of enemy fire. And Byers subdued several men while saving an American doctor kidnapped by the Taliban. Scott Kelly is packing his bags and preparing to return home from space tomorrow.
That will mark nearly a year in space for Kelly. His 340-day mission is the longest single trip for any American astronaut in history.
Kelly has been taking part in a health study while in space, one that's studying the mental and physical toll gravity has on humans.
He told reporters he has enough supplies to stay in space another year, but he is happy to be coming home.
With the unpredictability in the international markets, finance ministers from 20 of the world's largest economies met for over a day of meetings that wrapped up on Saturday.
The conclusion of the conference was that the investors and markets worry too much about the normal rise and fall of the global economy. The ministers agreed to let each other know of the major changes within their countries in order to avoid panic. And fighting in Syria has been easing up since Friday's ceasefire agreement between the Syrian government and rebel fighters.
The attacks have decreased, but those living in the rebel territory don't trust the ceasefire.
Sporadic violence between rebel groups is still ongoing despite the agreement. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that 183 people were killed near Aleppo on Saturday alone. Well, cloudy skies covered Syracuse this morning with some light rain.
And the sun has come out and it's warmed up to 42 degrees. Rebecca Castor joins us with a full weather forecast.
Thanks, Josh and Catherine. Students enjoyed nice weather over the weekend, and temperatures were still hitting the 50s. But freezing temperatures will be back this week due to this cold front moving through the northeast. Our Doppler radar shows some light rain and light snow in our vicinity. This light rain is expected to start falling around 8 p.m. tonight. And with such a mild February, many people are wondering if spring has arrived or if the winter snow is going to hit the hardest in March. So taking a look ahead, radar show that next month is going to be very similar to what we experienced in February. We can expect many nice days where temperatures are in the 50s, but more snow clouds will be coming our way soon. For tonight, our Doppler radar showed rain and snow. The low is near 20 degrees and the chance of snow is 50%. Wind speeds are about 19 miles per hour and there could be an occasional gust of over 40 mile per hour winds, so don't get blown away if you're headed out tonight. Now taking a look at our 5-day forecast, you'll see that temperatures will be back below freezing this week. Tuesday we have a high of 41 degrees and a low of 31. Wednesday we have a 100% chance of showers with a high of 38, and those showers will turn into snow on Thursday with a 70% chance of snow, high of 44 degrees. Friday, 40% chance of snow, high of 24, and Saturday, a nice partly cloudy day with a high of 36.
So Rebecca, how much snow exactly do you think we're going to be seeing tonight?
Tonight we're only expected to have under an inch. It's only supposed to have snow showers for about 1 to 2 hours, so you probably won't see anything on the ground when you wake up.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Coming up next, we'll break down all the winners from last night's Academy Awards.
And the happiest place on earth is changing their prices. We'll be right back.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
You got a king?
Go fish! In your face! In your face!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
In health news today, the Whole Woman's Health versus Hellerstedt case is to be heard in the Supreme Court this week. The controversial abortion case argues that the Texas laws for abortion and the regulation of Texas health clinics is a sham. The case will be aimed at Justice Anthony Kennedy, and with the death of Justice Scalia, opponents of abortion lost a fighter in the Supreme Court. And this weekend in consumer news, word that your family vacation may cost a little extra depending on when you decide to go. The cost of your ticket to Disney World will now be different depending on when you visit. The company announced their new seasonal pricing plan. The ticket prices differ between value, regular, and peak periods. The charge will only change for one-day park tickets.
Well, before we tell you all about last night's Oscars, we need to get into the Razzie Awards. The Razzies are held every year to celebrate the worst that Hollywood has to offer. And it was 50 Shades of Grey that swept the big prizes, grabbing Worst Film as well as Worst Actor and Actress. But going from the worst to the best, Hollywood's elite hit the red carpet last night for the Academy Awards. Host Chris Rock wasted no time in discussing the Oscars So White movement. Top awards went to Brie Larson for her role in Room. And after 5 nominations, actor Leonardo DiCaprio took home the award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. And top prize for sports reporting will hopefully go to Stephen Conowitz, who's joining us now with sports. Stephen?
Coming up next in sports, the SU men's basketball team has a big test tonight against number 8 North Carolina, plus both lacrosse teams were in action yesterday. We'll let you know how they did. That and more coming up after the break.
Wow. These are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake. So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Syracuse men's basketball is 4-4 this season against ranked opponents and has one more matchup against a top 25 team tonight before the postseason. The Orange is already down in Chapel Hill, ready to take on number 8 North Carolina. The Tar Heels are tied atop the ACC standings, but are coming off a loss against Virginia. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, the Cuse also has a quick turnaround after taking on North Carolina State in the Dome this past Saturday. The seniors Trevor Cooney, Michael Benedict, and Christian White being honored before the game, and then it's Trevor Cooney tying it up at 2 early in the first half. Trevor Cooney obviously been here for many years, and BJ Anya throwing it down for North Carolina State, tied up at 6, 5 minutes into the half. We also got to get Michael Benedict in on the action. He knocks down the 3, had 34 points in this contest, a career high for him on senior day. Another one, why not? Syracuse with the 8-point lead at halftime. And then heading into the second half, Tyler Lydon with the assist from Benedict, throwing it down, and Orange was rolling after that, 51-34 Cuse. BJ Anya doing what he does best down in the low post, throwing it down one more time, cuts the SU lead to 15 points, but Michael Benedict, of course, has to get one more 3 in. That gives Syracuse the 10-point lead, and Syracuse wins it 75-66. So the Cuse was able to send off its seniors on a high note in their final game in the Salt City. Now the Orange shifts its focus to tonight against the Tar Heels. UNC played Syracuse earlier this season in the Carrier Dome and won 84-73. A big advantage for North Carolina was its front court, which outscored Syracuse by 20 in the paint. Another factor the Orange needs to keep its eye on is forward Bryce Johnson. The senior leads the conference in rebounds with 10 a game. The Orange will have its hands full tonight at 7. And after the game, be sure to flip back to OTN for all the highlights and analysis at 11 p.m. The men's lacrosse team was also in action this weekend. Syracuse hosted Army West Point for the 12th time in 13 seasons. The Black Knights are a familiar early season opponent for the Orange, and SU hasn't lost to them since 2007. Though the Cuse has had Army's number in recent history, yesterday's matchup came a little bit more close down to the wire. Getting things going early on, it's Cole Johnson who scores for Army West Point, gets them on the board 1-0, and then later on, it's Derek DeJoe with the equalizer. Still, about 1 minute later in the first half. Connor Cook for Army gets Army back on the board, gives them the 2-1 lead, 5 minutes left in the first quarter. And then later on, it's Nick Mariano tying it up at 3 apiece. Back and forth game between these two. In the second half, it's a loose ball, goes all the way across the field. Dylan Donahue picks it up, gets it over to Nate Solomon, gives Syracuse the 7-3 lead, sparks a 4-goal by Syracuse, and then Tim Barber tied at 8, gives Syracuse the 9-8 lead late in the fourth quarter. Army with one more chance to tie it up to try to send it to overtime. Time expires. Syracuse wins this one 9-8. They are 3-0 on the season. Over to the women now, getting action. They're 4-0 heading into this one against Northwestern, and Riley Donahue gets Syracuse the 3-0 lead early in the first half. Shelby Fredericks for Northwestern finds the back of the cage as it just rolls in. That cuts the Syracuse lead to 3-2. Then it's Christina Esposito on the free position. Gives the Wildcats a 4-3 lead. Syracuse is now down for the first time in this matchup. Kelly Cross, why not? She gets a free position goal. Gives Syracuse the 2-goal lead, 8-6 at the end of the first half. In the second one, it's Nicole Levy with the assist from Kelly Cross. SU takes a 5-goal lead, and would it really be a Syracuse women's lacrosse highlight without any Kayla Trainer? She finds the back of the net, gives Syracuse the 14-10 lead. Syracuse takes this one 16-12. And finally, in SU women's hoops news, the Orange has taken a huge step forward in program history. In the latest AP poll released today, Syracuse earned the number 17 overall ranking, the highest ever for the team. Coach Hiltzman's squad finished the regular season 23-6 and is currently riding a 9-game winning streak. SU clinched a 3 seed in the ACC tournament and will play next on Friday. You can stay updated with who the Orange's opponent will be by following us on Twitter at CitrusTV Sports throughout the week.
So, Steven, tonight the men's basketball team has a really tough game against North Carolina. What exactly do they have to do in order to pull off that upset?
It's all about the front court. It's Dawan Coleman, Tyler Lydon, Tyler Robertson. They have to be able to stop Bryce Johnson, the likes of the bigger players on North Carolina. If they can do that, control the point, get some rebounds, Syracuse has a chance.
And now looking forward, what does the rest of the season look like for men's basketball?
Well, they play North Carolina tonight and then one more game away at Florida State this upcoming weekend. So after that, it's ACC tournament play. Syracuse will have to have a pretty good play in ACC tournament play, and then hopefully it shakes out for the Syracuse Orange fans here in Central New York. Maybe they'll get a chance to see Syracuse back in the NCAA tournament this year.
And the women's team, they seem to be looking pretty good recently. What do you expect in the ACC tournament for them?
They get the double bye, so then they play first time in this Friday. The opponent is yet to be determined, so I'm expecting them to make a pretty deep run in the ACC tournament and hopefully NCAA tournament as well.
Thanks so much. And up next, we'll have one last look at your weekend weather.
And a quick word about what makes today so special. Stay tuned.
The weekend, usually, is a time to relax and unwind from the pressures of work and school. Unfortunately, the weekend is also a time for many people to abuse drugs and alcohol. Listen to the words some people use when they talk about the good time they had over the weekend. They say, "I went to a party Friday night and got plastered," or "Saturday night, I was really wasted." Maybe they didn't have such a good time after all.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So Rebecca, what should I be wearing tomorrow morning waking up?
Tomorrow morning we're going to have temperatures dropping again, so it's going to be in the 20s when you wake up and are headed to class, and temperatures are only going to go up just a little bit throughout the day, so you're going to want to be dressed warmly tomorrow morning.
And Rebecca, we're hearing a lot about this winter storm out in the Midwest. Is that going to come our way? Is that going to have any effect on us later in the week?
Yes, that winter storm was just named today. It's Winter Storm Quo, and it's in the Midwest right now, and it's going to head our way Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, that's why we're going to see that 100% chance of snow, but we're not expecting this snowstorm to drop more than a foot. We're only going to get a few inches, so it shouldn't be that bad.
So looking later on in the week, how much snow are we expecting past tonight?
Past tonight, you should wake up tomorrow morning, you won't see snow on the ground, but past tonight, we're only going to have a few inches drop tonight, so won't expect much.
Thank you for the good news, Rebecca. So, Catherine, I gotta let you know, I'm really, really excited about today. It's such a special day.
A day that only happens once every 4 years. Did you know it's pretty unlucky for some people?
What? No, I did not. I don't know.
Okay,
that.
Did you know in Greece, only 1 in 5 couples cancel their weddings because they say it's so unlucky?
You know what? It's also unlucky if you have an annual salary, you didn't even get paid today. You worked a day totally for free. That's just not fun.
Luckily or unluckily, I don't have an annual salary. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I think it's a pretty lucky day. It's my dog's birthday today. Once every 4 years, I don't know how you start to count that. Dog years, it kind of gets confusing.
Yeah, because there's supposed to be a certain number of dog years in a human year, and then you cut that by 4. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? It's a happy leap day. And that's all the time we have in our show on this February 29th.
Don't forget to like now. I'm Josh Brazan.
And I'm Katherine Robinson. Have a great night, Syracuse.